So if you talk about things that some of the things that you do actually speak to schools, particularly maybe girls' schools. Because,
a lot of girls' schools.
Yeah, because the girls' schools, and rightly so, have got a tougher job competing in a male-dominated industry. And it's really good to see that you're leading the way to say, hey, we can all do this. And that's, you should get the job on your own merit, regardless of what sex or colour or race or whatever.
I agree.
Shouldn't matter, right? But we know that it's breaking down that old school mentality and moving forward. And to see you actually spend your time actually speaking to schools, what do you actually say when you rock up to speak to a bunch of year 2s or year 4s? Like,
year 12, they're the most complex one, I do a lot of girls' schools, and this is my bias, okay, because I think it's important. Yeah. I'm a big believer of just... When you have to build complex tech startup, I think I'm a big believer on diverse inputs in general. So it's not about female versus male. It's also different cultures. And my team has got 20 cultures or something like that, okay? The reason why I started going to schools is because when I started hiring a fleet, now we are like 40 people, I remember the first year, 500 applications and 490 were male. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, you need to build a product that's worldwide, that appeals to different type of people. So you need to have that multitasking ability that women have and that different brain. I just learned how to do that. And then I said, okay, I need to get into school. So I have to say I get kids from schools inside to do like job experience. And I go into school, is always female school. Is my
Fair enough.
My journey. And
it's
what do
story.
I say? I love primary school. I also go to kindy or like preschool or even to my childcare, the childcare of my daughter. So I've got a version that, that it sits for every age, and it's funny. And it's just interesting to see that the kids, very tiny little kids, like 4 years old, up to 6, 7, 8, their brain just expands. So they ask you all the most amazing thing, And you just talk about space, why space is interesting for Earth, what's happening, where people can go. Later on, when I speak for girls, like at the end of high school, it's a lot about me as well. And that's the thing, they ask me, do you have family?
Yeah.
With everything you do. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, is it hard? So there's still this misconception of why you are the CEO, you are aerospace engineering, must be hard. And, it's hard to, but I love it. I'm fine, So it's a lot of that aspect. Like, I could do that, but what do I have to sacrifice? Nothing,
And you get to do it all. You must have a very supporting other half.
Yeah, you have to have supporting half. And again, I don't have my family here. I came, so it's
And you're like quite outgoing. He's a little bit quieter.
Yeah, he has to be because I talk all the time. Otherwise, it would be hard for me to talk 24 hours a day.
But he's the reason you're in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? It's like a love story?
He imported me, like a wine, like a good wine.
Yeah, like a very good wine. In fact, we have very good wines here in Adelaide.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it was not necessary, but in this case.
So you came here... that was 5 years ago? Was it?
Yeah, a little bit more. But, he's got a full-time job as well. So my family's not here. But I think we found our way. But what these girls have learned, it's awesome. The other day, I tell this story all the time. We went with Katerina, she's 7. It was probably 1 year ago, she was 6. We went to Target and we needed to buy something for her, Lucas, like a friend from school birthday. So she's like, Mommy, let's just get a Lego, like, for boys, because there are the pink Lego and the blue Lego.
I know,
so she's like, oh my God, okay. So let's go to the blue Legos, and I'm like, let's go on a helicopter and a train and this. And then I saw this beautiful rocket. I'm like, what about the rocket? She said, no, Mommy, space is for girls. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like 5-star parenting. Yeah, that's it. I can retire. I'll see you when you're 18 because I've done my job, So there is that thing that you probably work a lot, but what they are learning is pretty awesome.
That is, so speaking with children, I've got 2 young girls. They say the most amazing things. I have no idea where they get some of it from.
So good.
What's the most interesting question that you've been asked by one of these kids that you've had to talk to?
I think one of the stories I always say because it was very, very funny. So when we were doing this experiment with the kids to launch stuff in space, the launch box, and they had a little satellite. They couldn't do any experiments. So there was this year, I think it was like year 2. So it was like 7 years old. So we did all a brainstorm, all the things. So we were launching this satellite in space, was there for a little while. And this 7 years old was like, and was looking at me and I actually do not believe that if you go into space, it gets colder because it gets cooler, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it gets pretty cold. And he's like, I don't believe it because you get closer to the sun. I love it. And I'm like, my teacher keeps saying to me that it's going to get cool, but I think it's going to get hot. And I'm like, so should we test it? And he's like, I'm going to put a camera and saw popcorn. Like, no, not your popcorn. Like the seed, okay?
Yeah.
And you will see it's going to pop because it's going to get
hot as it goes up.
And I'm like, let's do it. So we launched that thing. And in the camera, you saw that it was freezing. And he's like, oh, my damn it. Okay. But the mind of a 7 years old to like challenge all physics and wanted to test it, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
so
them.
cool. So you actually go to the school and actually send a rocket up?
No, it's not a rocket.
Like,
It's
it's
with balloons. It's a satellite with
Yeah,
balloons and
so
stuff.
you film it.
Yeah. We film it. You got a GoPro and stuff like that.
How
so,
does it come down?
It goes down. So it's not a real satellite. It's all 3D printed.
Yeah.
It's all with balloons, water balloons. It comes down with a parachute. And
Really?
But it's great for them. So it goes out of the atmosphere, right? Okay. So it was fantastic when we were doing that.
That is cool.
And they take
I'd like
the
to do that.
photos.
God, I want to send something up there.
With a bit of...
Yeah, with a bit of advertising.
I was about to say, a bit of marketing, like, Drake's is his face,
I could... Drake's
You can see this happening, yeah?
Can we do this?
100%.
Okay. Lock this. That's locked in.
Locked in this idea for next week.
I am Drake's in space.
I'm a Drake's in space.
Yeah, you can help me with that one.